Okay, everybody, let's accept Common Core. Common Core. Nobody had any input.
Who's paying for it? Common Core. Who's paying for this?
Oh, they'll get their turn. Don't worry.
Where's the money coming
If I
from?
could have your attention just for a second.
The same as it came from
During the general
Federal
session,
level, state level,
you want to make sure everyone
local,
has a
where
chance
is
to
the
be
money
heard.
coming from? So
And
we're
we
paying
want
for it at the
to
state
respect
level
everyone's
and the
opinions
local level
questions.
and the federal
So
level.
please give everyone a chance to be heard. Thank you very much.
Answer the question. He came here. He doesn't have the answers. That's why.
What data points are being tracked?
Okay. Let's just start with the norms for the table. One of the norms should be every voice can be heard, and one person speaking at a time. Does anyone have other suggestions for norms for the table discussion?
Somebody asks a question, somebody else answers. That's a good one.
We will try, but the main thing that we're going to do is record the questions and see.
Okay, go.
what questions
She has a
are
question
common.
right now. She already asked one. Let's go.
You go ahead. You have
I want to know what data points they're tracking.
Oh, they weren't tracking
They
data
said
points,
none.
were
They said
They
none.
said no data points.
No data points.
We know they
They
are.
did say that. And according to everything else, it's 400 data points. Who do we believe?
What data points are they tracking? Where is that information?
There are no data points required, as he said.
No. Okay.
This is already tracking 61 data points. Okay, can you not even answer that beginning level question? Because really and truly, if you can't,
No, I don't.
No, I'm asking.
Okay, that's a don't know. That's a don't know.
That,
Just
what
put
are
don't
they?
know.
They're not. You don't know what they're tracking.
They don't know.
Is that correct?
We're passing something we don't know anything about.
Correct.
Okay.
You gotta
That's
pass
point
it before
number
you can
one.
find out what you say.
That's exactly right. And they'll do it at midnight.
Right?
Patricia, about the math curriculum.
okay.
As you know, most of you probably know that James Milgram, the only mathematician on the panel that reviewed these core standards, did not sign off on it because he said it would leave our students 1 to 2 years behind. One of the things about the core Common Core is that you will not start algebra to 9th grade.
Actually, no matter no matter what.
That's what I'm reading. That's what I've been reading. That's what I've been reading. That would make it a hindrance for the children who wanted to read calculus by their senior year. Because you have to take Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, Math Analysis, Trig, and then have 5 major math courses in 4 years. Let alone if they chose AP, which I have a graduate from Springfield Public Schools who took both AP Calculus and AP Certificate, and that was only possible because he had started in 8th grade.
And if they can't start till 9th grade, how is that not controlling curriculum?
And how is that not causing our students to be better in the global workplace? My son works in a technology field, very high, went to Rollins School of Mines. He's in the computer field in a global position in Kansas City. He is the only native-born American in his 20 computer scientists.
Okay, my son's autistic.
Answer your question.
You think this curriculum is going to work for him?
Let her answer the first question. I can't write that fast.
Sorry.
As
That's
a
okay.
math consultant, I can answer your question about the Common Core. It doesn't say that students have to wait until, they don't have to wait until 9th grade to take Algebra 1. The standards, the Appendix A of the standards very clearly outlines the steps for accelerating math for both 7th grade and 8th grade. It gives outlines, even if you have students who are ready to do Algebra 1 by 7th grade, a study is outlined, a map is outlined for students who are advancing more quickly than the average student, so they could take Algebra 1 in 7th grade or in 8th grade. It's clearly outlined. It's in Appendix A.
Yeah.
Where, what website? Have you not seen a
If you go to the
Oh my gosh.
coursestandards.org
No,
website,
I don't.
and you look for
I don't.
appendix A,
It's a supplement to
it's
the
actually the
standards
curriculum
themselves
the
that
mapping
gives
guide
additional information.
for
Where do we get all
high
of
school.
this?
I don't know. They could tell us we're going to the moon next
Right,
year.
because it's not clear on websites where.
Curriculum mapping guide?
I'd love to hear it.
It's called Appendix A to the Common Core Math Standards. It outlines the curriculum, not mapping like on a timeline. That's up to teachers. But it gives a condensed curriculum, accelerated curriculum for 7th or 8th grade students who will be ready for Algebra 1 in either 7th or 8th grade. A lot of schools that do Algebra 1 in 8th grade, they're going to still be doing Algebra 1 in 8th grade.
Okay, wait a minute. We've got another question. We need to do this one at a time. What was the question?
I just asked where we could read the actual standards because I hadn't been able to find something with everything, and she told me corestandards.org.
Okay. And it's linkable on the website, but if you want to just print them out, there's a link on that page to print a PDF of the standards or download the PDF. Yes.
There was a chart shown on the wall. And it was the,
Speak up, please.
Speak up, Doug.
chart of demand for skills. You recall that chart?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a little hard of hearing. So
Yeah, so am I. Thank you very much. Okay.
And I can't
So,
speak very loud.
so there was a chart up there, and it was the demand for skills. Is that correct?
Yeah. We saw
Y'all
it.
got that in your mind?
On which one?
Excuse me?
The graph that showed
It was your guy that showed it, so you've got to
On
remember.
the screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We actually, just to clear process, we work all over the
Excuse
state.
me. The demand for skills.
Yes.
Chart started falling off in the mid-70s. Would that be any relationship to when the Department of Education came into being?
Yeah.
And it fell off ever since then. So my question to you, based on Common Core, and what you want to do with the educational system, not only in the state of Missouri, but on a national basis, you want us to hand over the children of the nation to an environment that has not been tested, has not been proven, does not have any credibility. And you want us to do it out of the goodness of our hearts?
17
The
trillion,
demand
remember.
for skills
We're down
didn't
17
have
trillion.
anything to do with actually the education. That was the
It has
demand
everything to do with education.
Wake up.
industry demand for skills is what that
Where
refers
do you
to.
get your skills from? Please, you just don't wake up in the morning one day and say, I'm a mathematician, all right, or I'm a baker, I'm a district. You just
I
don't
think
wake
the
up
point
like
is the
that.
demand for
What changes were made
skills
for-
drives how we need to
The
educate
demand
children.
for skills needs to be driven because the overall educational system of this nation is failed initially because of the Department of Education.
Now,
That's
they
very, very
they
clear.
said through Common Core they're going to be tested every 3 weeks. Did you read that?
yeah, I read that.
3 weeks?
Yes, but they,
How much time is going to be spent educating for tests? And what happens to the kids that can't pass these tests or do well with all this data that's collected?
but that's the easy part.
It's common assessments based on what they've learned that week or that day.
That's all up to teachers in the classroom.
No, it's not. They've accepted the money for this Common Core program,
And that was
and they
behind the
will
scenes.
teach their curriculum.
They will-
The districts have their choice in what the curriculum.
Just like Obamacare, where you can choose your doctor and your insurance plan and all the other things he's promised. You know what? It's government.
Standardized
It's
assessments
government.
are not required every 3 weeks. They're going to be end of the
What-
year testing.
What consortium are they using?
Smarter Balance. The Park Consortium does have testing throughout the year.
All right here.
Smarter Balance is at the end of the year.
Can I ask another question? Anytime you get something this big and this convoluted and with convoluted and with this many tentacles going out into not only Missouri but the nation, where's the money going? Who stands to reap the benefits on this thing? All right.
The testers?
Right now, it's Bill
Gates,
Gates and
Microsoft.
Okay, GE. Okay, and that is to put in the infrastructure. They need the infrastructure, and the money's not going to come from the standpoint that they're going to be basing.
What is your
I want to know who is getting the payback.
Follow the money.
because you and I are going to pay. And here's the neat part about it is, the basic part of this is going to be funded by the federal government. That's going to carry on for a short period of time. It gets cut off, and everything else gets dumped on the
Oh,
It's already on.
Right, lady right here.
The taxpayers are going to get nailed on this.
Chris, over here.
I want to know if you're emphasizing so much that local school districts and the state will have control over curriculum, then why do we need to adopt these other standards? To me, it's an insult to the great teachers and administrators that we have in our district who are, my kids have had some of the best teachers and some of the worst teachers that I couldn't believe personally that were still teaching in the school district. But to me, it's an insult to say that you have control, but where we set the standard, I don't understand.
Standards are really our promise as communities, as schools. Standards are our promise to our communities that we are going to teach kids to do and know these things at this grade level.
And the government's going to tell us what it is.
But curriculum is like your roadmap of how we're going to get there. And the curriculum is totally up to the school districts.
It said model
The standards, sure, that's like an example. There were teachers across the state. They're actually
Curriculum up there is just an example.
It is an example.
absolutely the model curriculum units on Destiny's website is an
As a matter
example.
of fact, it's in draft form.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Teachers around the state wrote those units, by the way.
Let me kind of come back to the standards issues, because it was my understanding after serving on the Education Appropriations Committee that one of the reasons Missouri was having such an issue was because our standards were so high that our students weren't reaching them. Okay, we were about second
which
only to
students? Which students?
just
All
on
students?
average, just
in-
on average, just hang on. I'm on your side.
That's good to know.
But I just want to kind of come back to this issue. Let me finish. Massachusetts was the highest ranking standards in the country. When they did their Race to the Top application, they did not agree to the Common Core state standards because it would lower their standards. And so they were then excluded on the first round of RTTT funding. Okay. Missouri waited to watch to see what would happen before they made their application. So Massachusetts came back, did a reapplication for Race to the Top funding, agreed to lower their standards to Common Core. Then they became a recipient of Race to the Top funding. So it is a lowering of the bar of our standards in the state of Missouri because we were higher than most. The problem has come with states like Tennessee, Kentucky, and some of the other states where their standards are so low that they have these high performance levels, but nobody knows anything coming out of classrooms because they're not being taught anything.
That's why you live in Missouri and not Tennessee.
Well,
I'm
exactly.
sorry. You don't like their education, don't live
that
there.
is the explanation. And it doesn't answer your question, why adopt Common Core and insult our own educators? It has to do with being part of the agreement to lower the standards to the lowest common denominator, so that you're always hitting at the middle and rarely having that flexibility to hit to the top and leaving the bottom students with some real significant issues that there's really no discussion about.
In other words. Not scientists.
You know, what I have come to conclude is that by implementing a Common Core thing where it is common across, it becomes a fifth grader is a fifth grader is a fifth grader regardless of what state you live in. So if a kid is studying here in Missouri, parents get transferred out to Colorado, which is obviously one of the great American states now, and so then they enter fifth grade over there. What that teacher knows is that student is on that same track. Well, they thought they would know, but they're only testing once a year, so if a student comes in at mid-year, they don't necessarily really know that they're actually on course because they're not testing any more frequently than once a year, which is the problem we have now.
So
with
there's
math.
no individuality whatsoever.
No.